Minister, and with the last 4 seconds, I believe we can move now to a combination of Ms. Rempel sharing her time with Mr. McGuire, I believe. Ms. Rempel.
What percentage of the people who have entered Canada illegally from upstate New York since January 2017 and then subsequently claimed asylum would Division 16 of the BIA have applied to?
I believe for those who had made a previous claim in the United States, my understanding is that number is somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500. Is that correct?
So about less than 10%, like 5 or 6%.
That's for that particular provision.
Thank
for
you.
those who have previously made a claim.
I just wanted to put that on the record. You didn't quite answer your colleague's question, who said, I think it was something effective, have you done any analysis to see if this would survive a Supreme Court challenge or a court challenge? You said you believe that. Was there analysis completed, and would you table that with the committee prior to the review?
Justice.
We've certainly worked with the Department of Justice on that analysis, and we have the charter analysis. Whether or not, Mr. Chair, Justice is okay with us tabling that before the committee, we'll certainly follow up through this question.
I would say it's a little material to this. If that analysis shows that it's not likely to survive a court challenge, which I don't think it will, is it your intention to use the notwithstanding clause to have it upheld?
I remain confident that it will, in fact, meet that challenge, and that's the advice we've received from Justice. But again, I wouldn't presume to speak for them. If we have an opportunity to table that opinion with the committee, we'll certainly try to endeavor to do so.
Do you expect court challenges on this?
In my experience, almost every area of law is subject to litigation. That's the nature of any new law. So it's certainly possible that someone may seek to challenge it, but I remain confident in its constitutionality.
Have you budgeted anything with regard to the fact that this most definitely will be litigated? How much is that anticipated to cost? And again, are you anticipating using the notwithstanding clause?
There is nothing in Budget 2019 that we presented that specifically speaks to that. We don't anticipate that it would require extraordinary resources to deal with such a challenge.
Thank you. Over to Mr. McGuire.
Thanks to my colleague, and thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess one of the things that I took upon myself last year was to put a letter to the public budget officer in regards to what it would cost for all of the illegal border crossers that we've had come into Canada over that period of time. The government had budgeted a couple $100 million for it all. It came back last November. They told us it was $1.1 billion. Now I see that you've come up with I think it's 1.18 in your in recommendation 2.28 here. Over 5 years to try and handle some of these processing, 40,000 asylum claims. There's a backlog of 71,000. Do you see this coming anywhere close to the costs required in being able to manage this, considering that this doesn't include any of an equal amount that the provinces have indicated that they're going to need to pay as well?
We believe that the budget that we have submitted is the appropriate budget to adequately resource IRCC, IRB, CBSA, the RCMP, and other federal agencies that have a responsibility for this.
And you believe that that's going to do it when there's a 71,000 backlog already? You're going to do 50,000, and you've got claims. You're hoping, from what I understand in the report released today, that there's a hope that will catch up, allow them to catch up, because if there's fewer coming in this year, it'll allow for some of that backlog that's very heavy there, very public, to be caught up.
And in order to manage this properly, Mr. McGuire, we're doing two things. We're making significant effort to decrease the number of people that are crossing irregularly, and we've achieved, as I've already indicated to this committee, a significant level of success. And we are also significally increasing the capacity of our agencies and departments.
Mr. Blair, it's a little late, as my colleague said earlier. It's a few months to an election time. Why didn't you start 2.5 years ago when this first became a problem?
We did, and you may not recall, but in budget 2018, we added $74 million, for example, to significantly increase the capacity of IRB to conduct hearings. That was, as I recall, discussed at this committee. I'm not sure whether or not you recall that.
That's my point, Mr. Blair. The $74 million is a drop in the bucket compared to what it is required by the provinces and even your federal departments to be able to manage the backlog that has come forward over the last few years. 2 years there was
Thank you, Mr. McGuire.
40,000
There
illegal
won't be
crossers.
time for an answer to that question, but maybe Madame